All right, Sisyphus Gauntlet is back. We are super excited that this year it is open to all the street parking members. And one of the reasons we're excited that it's open to everybody is because really all four of these workouts are workouts that can be scaled down and truly accessible to wherever you are on your journey, and hopefully get a lot out of them, not just in your fitness, but beyond.
Yeah, and before it was limited, restricted to the individuals who had completed 200 sessions, which is great because that shows the priority of consistency. And while that is true, what's also unique about this month opening it up to everybody is, one, the people who have done more than 200 sessions but just might log it. #log your workout. But also people who are newer to this, to aren't equip them with not only 4 workouts, but 4 mindsets that can be applied really, of course, outside of life too, but to other workouts as well. So kind of wherever you are in your fitness journey, these 4 workouts and the mindsets are empowering.
Yeah. And I think to that end, it is important to say that while Sisyphus, the story of Sisyphus itself, which is in, other videos and leading up to this, I'm sure everybody's become familiar with it, but, this eternal pushing a boulder up a hill, very intimidating. And these are longer. There's also, it doesn't have to be seen as like the hardest thing ever. And I think that's important to frame it in, it's going to challenge you, hopefully. And we'll get into each of the workouts as these weeks continue, but, not going into it with this preconception that it's going to be the most grueling thing you've ever done. It will be really just an hour of opportunity. So looking for the theme of making meaning out of suffering is really what these 4 workouts and this gauntlet is about.
Yeah. So
this week, everyone is going to tackle the first of the workouts, which is the hill. And the mindset for this one is turn and go. So we thought we would kind of explore a little bit of why the hill. Some people might automatically, when they hear running, say like, oh, I'm going to sub the bike. Mm-hmm. And while there are substitutes and certainly people who have injuries or limitations, please take advantage of those substitutions. But I think it's important that even if you're not typically a runner or that's intimidating, that you understand maybe why we chose running or making your way up a hill, and a little bit about the workout.
Agreed.
So do you want to talk a little bit about kind of that mindset or turning and facing the hill, and also a little bit of the cadence of why you chose, hill, and why we've done this and had success with so many people?
Yeah. Everybody has a hill in their life and multiple hills. And if you've ever tried to ascend to the top of it, you notice there's a point along that where continuing to go is very difficult. And when we're kind of in that physical act of climbing something, the way in which we're moving our body, the terrain on which we're moving our body, something happens internally. And so we wanted to create an experience where that something happening internally was experienced or was felt. And that's different than like a 100-meter sprint. The actual pitch of the hill.
Ascending
something.
Yeah.
Ascending something that is difficult. That naturally is going to challenge you. It's never easy. It doesn't matter how good you are. It's never easy to climb up a hill,
right,
to do that. So the hill makes a lot of sense.
And also I think everyone can relate to when you get top of the hill. There's like a relief. It's like, okay, like you overcame something. So, yeah. And the hill, the length of the hill, the pitch of the hill, obviously like everyone has a different hill in their life, and very similar to different challenges you face. They're not all the same either. But less important, it's, this bar for this pitch, more so just feel like you're ascending something. It's challenging you. There's some resistance pushing back at you. And I think what's interesting about this workout is, like you said, not just doing a flat. Can you talk about the pacing of the body and kind of, people are always saying the mind and the body is connected, and it is. And for those that don't know, Bill does, clinical therapy, and there's an interesting tie into that type of pacing and the left-right kind of cadence of the legs with the mind.
Yeah, so if you pay attention to the cadence or the footsteps per minute of running a hill, because it's more difficult to run versus flat, you're not going to have as high of a cadence. Mm-hmm. Now, you might have that, it might not be long strides, but each one, and it will likely be shorter. It will be shorter. It'll take you more steps to get up, but like each one, the speed is different. Right. Versus if you're running on a flat, you can actually be a lot faster. You could be a lot speedier on the way down. You can be incredible, unless you're long striding it out, which if you are, I won't see a video of that, but the cadence is one that has a left and right component, obviously, that's running. But it's at a frequency that is not too activated. Mm-hmm. And by activating, I mean tapping into multiple, kind of brain networks. And that's something that I learned and am trained on and perform in therapy with folks from EMDR. And it's this notion of bilateral stimulation. Essentially means it's left, right, left, right. And when we do that, either tactilely or even with our eyes, which is sort of how it started, it kind of taps into different brain networks. And with that, material arises, maybe from our unconscious, maybe from the thing we're holding our awareness on. And so a hill, because it's a bit difficult and because you can't go super rapid, is actually like the perfect cadence for this type of an EMDR bilateral stimulation experience. Yeah. And so, one of it's got to be kind of like slower and grindier. Mm-hmm. And that's good. That's what we would want to do. If it's rapid and fast, that would be frankly, that would be more inappropriate for just saying, hey, randomly do this. That wouldn't be cool. So I've taught this to many, many people. And we call it resourcing. And when you're resourcing, you're developing a skill, a practice that you can use on your own. And that's why this is very, very appropriate, and why I also think that one of the reasons why the hill has really been a profound experience, deeply moving, surprisingly moving, or what we started to see for a lot of people in very different ways.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and we've both obviously done this one multiple times, and we've had those experiences as well. And so the mindset of turn and go being there's this combination of what you're thinking about, and then just this natural thing that the body does. So I think it's important to say this isn't about doing therapy in a workout. So while we love the mind-body connection, it's more just this is what happens. So let's maybe just take advantage of it and lean into it. And when we accompany it with that mindset of some kind of challenge, something we're going to face, and then kind of have some positive attribute, which is the assignment at the top, which is also very challenging. I think, speaking for myself, saying something you're proud of, you kind of get through and burn off the initial layer, okay, I'm a mom, this and that, and then it really asks you to go deeper.
Yeah, an hour is a long time.
Yeah, we get people asking, I think it's funny, kind of not gaming, but can you repeat the same thing? And of course, there's no rules. But that's just something to notice. If you struggle with having more than a couple things you're proud of, you might have to really like dig in a little bit deeper with, some stuff that's in there. But that's been a really beautiful experience for people. And again, while you're talking about running, even if you can't run the hill, walking fast up the hill, we'd rather see someone ascend, have that experience, than just right away say like, well, I can go faster on the bike. These really aren't about, we're not counting how many times you went up the hill. We're not tracking a pacing on your watch. These are really, hopefully for everyone, an opportunity to let go of that like data. You did it or you did not. And that's really the only kind of check mark. It's not really about the details of the calories or the reps or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have crutches, which even still, one of our buddies,
has done it with his crutches.
Yeah. If you have an injury that absolutely prevents you from being load bearing, understood.
Yeah.
If you walk to your car or you walk in, like, then do the hill, then don't do the bike or the route, because not all cardio is the same. And we love the notion of versatility and scaling and all of that, and absolutely. And there's also time and place to not avoid the thing that, let's be honest, do you like to run because you're a psychopath? Hey, not everybody likes to run. Most people don't.
Sure.
And then you throw a hill in there, you're like, oh my God, it doesn't matter. Get up the hill.
This might be something that maybe after this you never run again, or maybe it frames running differently for you. But I think sometimes we talk about this a lot. What's most challenging isn't maybe what's actually most physically challenging. Like,
right.
For someone, what's most challenging is maybe doing the thing that might look scaled, but you don't want to do it, which is a great exercise in itself. So this one, we also, there are going to be meetups. There's opportunities for that. I know that's being encouraged to get together with some people. It is really a great one to do in a group. Have your own experience, of course. But we've done this individually and as a group. And it can be really powerful, and there can be just a lot of, connection that arises. So we really hope that everyone takes this on. And there's a tremendous amount of pride, I think, in just trying it. Just trying it. You never know.
I agree. And, we were talking about it before, and one of the things is you can, and I see this in therapy, I see this in fitness, I see this for myself as well. I think we can map out the borders of our limitations and how we limit ourselves based upon what we're avoiding in life.
Right. Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense because we avoid things often in a way of trying to dump ourselves.
Sure.
So there's a time.
It's not a bad intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not. We understand that. However, having this mindset of kind of anti-avoidance, shifting from avoidance to approach, that is also tapping into this is not like theoretical stuff. This is physiological stuff. The approach system in our brain, the seeking system.
Yeah.
This is neuroscience. This is biology.
It'll save you reading about 1 million books.
Yes.
Put us down.
Yes. So having that approach mindset is not just a thought.
You mean approach mindset, like turn and go, attack my challenge.
Yeah. Go up the hill.
Right.
Run. I know.
You're going.
Of course I can run, but maybe I can jump. Great. Just don't avoid it.
Yeah.
And I have this sort of mantra that has been very helpful for me, which is, and this has shown up so many times, showed up in my military career, showed up in athletics, definitely shows up in the gym, shows up in personal situations, that the mountain is always bigger in our mind than it is beneath our feet.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And for the hill, we're putting the mountain, so to speak, beneath your feet. And you're getting up it. We're encouraging you to find something positive about yourself, which might be very difficult, which is why we do this type of stuff. Right? We like to say we do hard things. We're like, this is not a hard thing. And we're vocalizing. We're saying it out loud. Like,
so tough.
Like, also tough. And I did this one time, and there was like literally no one around, and I was whispering.
I know.
I was like, what am I doing? Like, what is it? The bird's going to be like, like, just say it. Just say it. Feel yourself say it. Don't avoid that. And so this is a very, very, and at the bottom, give yourself the time to sit with.
Yeah.
And really bring into your awareness the challenges in your life. This is not 60 minutes of how many hill sprints you can get up. It's not an AMRAP. Yeah. Like, give yourself the opportunity to sit down there and be like, I know this hill is behind me. This hill represents whatever challenge is in your life. Sit with that challenge. Feel that challenge. Recognize that challenge. And then turn it go.
Yeah.
And hunt that thing. And whether that's a walk or a full-on run where you open it up,
yeah. Awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear about everybody's experiences and takeaways, and good luck to you.
Enjoy.